again to the big match. 3 more matches in our lineup today, and our main match is from the second division, Millwall against Queen's Park Rangers, and we shall back that up with 2 from the first. That nail-biter at the bottom between West Bromwich Albion and Norwich, and a fiercely fought game between Ipswich and Wolves, marred only really by the sending off of 2 players, Colin Viljohn of Ipswich and Frank Munro of Wolves. Also today, your last chance to make up your minds about the Golden Goals. We'll show you the final 6 once more, and remember you have now just 1 more day to vote. But first it's action. It comes from the Den, that boisterous home of Millwall, and yesterday their first big-hearted job for the Millwall players was to show their appreciation of the achievement of Rangers, already virtually assured of a place in the first division as they came out for this game, an honour Millwall so narrowly missed themselves last season. Today then, the Lions from Millwall field this side for the derby game. Unchanged, least known name I suppose is the number 10, Mickey Kelly, an 18-year-old from Erith. Their opponents today also unchanged, Queen's Park Rangers, with a side that has bounced the club back into the first division after their 1 season there in 68-69. On the field today, 2 of the best young goalkeepers in the Football League, Phil Parkes of Queen's Park Rangers, and at the other end of the field for Millwall, Brian King. Also 2 strikers who will be aiming to beat them today, who got into our Golden Goal shortlist. Stan Bowles, who was in the final 6, and Alf Wood of Millwall, who just failed to get there. The referee today is Mr. A.L. Hart of London, and the crowd, just over 16,000, is Millwall's biggest of the season.
Millwall kick off then, defending the goal to our left, all in white. Queen's Park Rangers having changed from their normal blue and white hoops to red shirts and white shorts. Too much white in their normal colours to clash with Millwall. Throw to Millwall. And Steve Brown with it. No, he's going to leave it for Gordon Bolland. Queen's Park Rangers, to all intents and purposes, now in the first division. Mathematically still needing 1 point. Venables. But they've come here still with twin aims this afternoon. They've still got their sights on the second division championship, where Burnley are the favourites. And also they need to clear up a little matter of Millwall having won 3-1 at Loftus Road in November. The ball back there, and a great shot there, just past the post by young Mickey Kelly. Young boy from Erith and only 18, only just in the Millwall first team. But he really had Phil Parkes springing across that Queen's Park Rangers goal. Behind for the corner. Steve Brown's going to take it. Barry Kitchener's gone right up, the big number 5. Alf Wood, also a big man at number 9 there, played wide towards Doug Alder, but Leach helping it on its way to safety for Queen's Park Rangers with Burnett. A whole gaggle of players there just outside the QPR penalty area as they came back to try and catch Millwall offside. But Harry Cripps going back now to a defensive position as Queen's Park Rangers get a free kick. Givens just touching that now. Bowles is off, but the long legs that time of Kitchener preventing Bowles, who looked to be sneaking through from that lovely touch on by Don Givens. But Stan Bowles, the number 10, stopped by the number 5 Barry Kitchener. But QPR get a corner. Which Dave Thomas will take for them. Mancini's come right up for this one. So Thomas with Queen's Park Rangers corner. Leach wasn't there, Mancini was right in there, but he didn't really connect the way he'd hoped to, and it's with Doug Alder now. Wood played first time and sweeping left there towards Mick Kelly. Playing well there, Kelly, and now with Cripps. Dorney for Brown. Well, he might get a chance. He's going past tackle after tackle, and a nice little heel there, and Bolland! Oh, and a magnificent save once more by Parkes. Good football there by Millwall in a very confined space, making a chance for Bolland, when really I suppose he should have scored. Kelly, the number 10, also had a part in it. And a tremendous save by Phil Parkes. And Millwall now with a corner, and it's Doug Alder. Good header away by Givens. He climbed beautifully there. Bowes. Watson. And again it's Kelly. This time stopped by Hazel. Bowles. Burnett. Alder to Burnett. Wood and Cripps. Millwall looking very enterprising in these opening 10 minutes or so. Burnett, but taken off him by Mick Leach. And the linesman flagging on the far side for offside against Bowles. That's Mick Leach. Free kick again to Millwall. A Mancini-Thomas sandwich on Alder. Brown with the kick. Good curling one there. Bolland meeting it well. And Parks once more beautifully behind it. Good run and jump by Bolland. Rather wild kicking there by Brown, but it's Thomas now in possession for Queen's Park Rangers. Bowles played back to Venables, all very tight and restricted in there. Francis now. Bowles are now opening out again for Francis. Good controlled play there by Queen's Park Rangers, and a shot by Jerry Francis that is way past the post of Brian King. Well, Cripps, I think, was prepared to concede that ball was going out of play, but Bowles wasn't, and he gets it now to Leach. Venables. Watson. Bowles again. Tried to get the shot in, but again, Dorney, the number 4, was there. He's a good tight marker, Alan Dorney. It looked for a moment as though Bowles might get away from him, but not for long. Mancini coming up again for the corner, to be taken by Dave Thomas. And they're wanting Harry Cripps back 10 yards. The referee's coming across to tell Cripps that he needs to go back. That's the corner. Leach was there. Bowles is right back there, hit a good one. Francis also trying to hit one. Mancini helping it on its way, and that ball is in the net, but it's offside. Givens quite clearly offside, Don Givens, top scorer with 25, but really that was a tremendous looking shot by Bowles that was blocked by the Millwall defence. And so Brian King with the free kick. Alder, good header. Mancini, harassed and finally beaten by Gordon Bolland, now with Harry Cripps. So a good dummy on Jerry Francis there. Alder turning it back. Now Wood, and a great save again by Phil Parks. Well, Millwall certainly are still creating the chances, and Wood readjusted very quickly there to get the shot in. But again, Phil Parks showed what a tremendous goalkeeper he is. Thomas now for Queen's Park Rangers. Good turn of pace there by Thomas, but running it behind again for the goal kick to Millwall. Two goalkeepers here today who are capable of so much, but it's not Brian King, as I'm sure he'd agree, but Phil Parks, who's had to pull it all out so far. King fully capable of doing it. Free kick to Millwall. Wood caught between the sandwich of Leach and Mancini that time. Brian Brown with the free kick. Harry Cripps right in there, winning a valuable ball in the air too. Francis being chased by Alder. Mancini. Venables. A nasty bobble there for Francis. Burnett's throw. Kelly. Played well there. Millwall's throw. Crossed again there towards Bolland, and again Wood is there! And Wood turned back for a moment there, feeling that it might just have crept above Parks' hands and under the bar, but it was a fraction over the bar. Bolland. And Alder couldn't quite take it in his stride. Venables, Francis, Bowles, letting one fly which bounces off Dorney away. Hazel, Clement, Thomas, Clement again. Hazel a long one forward, Dorney once more there, but he hasn't cleared that. He's only got it as far as Francis, turned in again there towards Leach, who made a good run, and Kitchener almost tucking that underneath Brian King. And now it's with Brown. Well, it might fall for Kelly, it does. Turn back for Burnett, but then turn straight to Ian Watson. Bowles, good control. Watson again, Francis. Watson leaving it for Venables. Leach. Certainly the game hasn't lived up to its very bright and promising first 10 minutes. Free kick now to Millwall. Alder just keeping that in. Mancini. And Kitchener up very well indeed. Kelly turning it on now for Brown. Through the legs of Venables that time. Turned on nicely there. Once more Kelly, and Wood is right in there. Shot on the turn and just passed. Good control on his body that we've seen already once or twice today. Good chest traps, but that was on the chest and on the thigh. Hitting it on the volley as he turned, but wide. And the Millwall defence coming forward quickly enough to catch both Givens and Bowles offside. Barry Kitchener with Millwall's free kick. Good deep one there towards Alf Wood. Hazel had to jump for that one. It's with Brown, but he couldn't get the shot in. Alder hopefully jumping there. Touchdown again for Bolland, and just a fraction over. They're continuing to create one or two chances in that Millwall penalty, in that QPR penalty area. Some good, close, tight play there by Millwall. And a corner. But we're in injury time now at the end of the first half. Just a little time to add on for just the odd injury we've had in the first half. Kitchener again going forward, but not time enough for Millwall to take this corner, and so we come in with a goalless first half. And the reason we come in with the first half goalless is because of Phil Parks. 3 or 4 tremendous saves as Millwall have come forward, sort of showing that this fellow not only is the best goalkeeper in the second division, but really is going to be worth his place next season in the first division as well. So thanks to Phil Parks, we've no goals so far at the Den this afternoon, but there's so much more to come on the programme for you this afternoon. Half-time score, Millwall 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Crystal Palace losing 3-0 at Leeds, apparently. Do you know what the match... Man United, Man City. So no goals in the first half. Queen's Park Rangers getting us away now in the second. And Hazel turning it back to the hero of that first half as far as Queen's Park Rangers are concerned, goalkeeper Phil Parks. Oh, a deliberate handball by Mancini, and the book is coming out. Well, it was an involuntary gesture by Terry Mancini, I must say. But the directive is that those sorts of involuntary gestures have got to be a booking to stop the habit spreading. And so into the book his name goes, and Burnett takes the free kick, and Wood was trying to get in on the far side of everybody, Mancini and all, but ran out of space, caught his hand on the goal, and Parks with a goal kick. Gibbons, but falling again for Kelly. Switched nicely there to Steve Brown. Brian Brown, turn first time, Cripps was right in there, and so too is Bolland, trying to find a way through, and although the whistle again had gone, and again this man, Phil Parks, right in the way of it. So Bolland hit with great power, but this fellow Parks is really going to be an eye-opener for so many First Division forwards next season. So now Millwall again with Kelly. Now with Bolland. And again Phil Parks, not with quite the assurance that he's shown with one or two other saves this afternoon, but successfully getting his body behind that bobbling ball, bouncing away for the corner to Millwall from Gordon Bolland. And even more, that ball is outside the corner quadrant. Not that it serves Millwall any useful purpose as Watson gets it away. Jerry Francis's throw. Leach, Burnett, and Brian King. Push in the back by Hazel. The stoppages continue, and this time a free kick to Millwall. Brian Brown with the free kick. Bolland again, hopeful of leading him first. Harry Cripps trying an overhead. Kitchener there too. And the Millwall crowd behind that goal incensed that there was a handball. But in fact it was a purely accidental one, if it was one at all, in the helter-skelter of that penalty area. And quite right, the referee didn't give a penalty. And in fact he made absolutely sure he got away from that scene very quickly indeed to stop all the arguments. Wood taken down there by Clements, and Clements and Wood getting in quickly, and Venables, good to see, getting in just as quickly to separate them. But Clements wants to go on with it, and Wood too, and the referee has got to pull them back. Well, if he doesn't pull them back, he's got to go there and make sure that he gets his point of view across as well, and that's just what he's going to do. Behind his back the play was going on, but that's got to stop too. So now the explanations. Clement now with a smile. Wood being shushed away there by referee Hart. And now we can get on with the real things, the football, and another free kick to Millwall. Brian Brown again taking it. Again a deep one towards Alf Wood. Mancini there before him. Burnett. The rain coming down hard now as QPR have a break with Bowles. They can up in tremendous force now because Francis is there too. That's for Jerry Francis, and King out of fraction before him. That was a good-looking break by Rangers. Clement again. Thought about the pass back, but Alder was really putting him under pressure again, and Clement pulling him back, and he's going to be booked for that. Well, I don't think, quite honestly, referee Hart's got any option at all. It wasn't more than 2 minutes ago that he was talking severely to Dave Clement after his clash with Alf Wood. But the lesson really wasn't heeded. So Dave Clement goes into the book. It's going to be a free kick to Millwall. Dennis Burnett. And Mancini away. Brown turning it back, but the whistle had gone. Well, he scored one or two surprising goals in his career, and I think the crowd would love to see one now. Harry Cripps. Clement. Francis. Oh, nicely played there for Leach, and cut out by Barry Kitchener, and it's a corner to QPR. Mancini again right up. Rangers just with 3 players back. Clement trying to get in there, and it was by Bowles, and it came off the post. Watson. And back now to Venables. And then negatively a long way back to Phil Parks. Bowles versus Brown. Venables keeping that in, but only just. Bowles again. And the challenge really was a bit fierce there from Brown. Rangers with the rain in their eyes. Not a very happy ground for them. Really, they've only won here in their twice in their last 25 visits. I don't really think their ambition is high enough at the moment to expect them to win now, although they're in possession and in the Millwall half. And still at 0-0, the ball with Watson. And now with Thomas. It's a better looking cross. And it's there by Don Gibbons. Well, there we are. For so long, Millwall had the chances. Rangers had seemed to lack a bit of ambition, as they're already, of course, in the First Division. But then the long cross from the left, and Don Gibbons there with his head before the Millwall defenders, making it goal number 26. And Brian King beaten at last, although in all honesty he's had but a fraction of the work to do that his opposite number Phil Parks has had. And Millwall now have 5 minutes left in which to get on level terms. Kitchener, Cripps, and Mancini, back to Parks. Two minutes to go. Queen's Park Rangers leading by a goal to 0, but Wood now in possession for Millwall. Francis. Givens again. Good acceleration there, but again those long legs of Kitchener sticking themselves out like a huge telescope there, just in time to turn it behind for the corner. Thomas again with the corner. Kelly away. Francis. And a goal kick. So Don Givens, the man who separated the two sides, Republic of Ireland international, soft-spoken but very hard-hitting when it comes to aiming for goal. And away goes Bowles. Oh, neatly over Dorney's head. Good play here by Bowles. And alas for him, for the Rangers fans as well. And he's apologising to them. There wasn't the power of finishing there, but that is the final whistle, and it's victory for Queen's Park Rangers that mathematically now certainly takes them into the First Division. They were assured really before they came. The only goal of the game being scored by Don Givens just 5 minutes from the end, making a final scoreline after a very disappointing game really at the Den today that reads Millwall 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Well, of course, it's difficult to assess Rangers on that. After the pressures of the past weeks, it's inevitable that they were soft-pedalling a little. So really, it wouldn't be fair to ask Jimmy to say, are they a First Division side or aren't they? But he's got other views on the game in any case. Jim?
Well, what I learned from the game yesterday was about refereeing. I thought that it doesn't pay for a referee to pay too much respect to professional footballers because they don't always get that respect back. Referee Hart, I thought, entered into the game with goodwill and a smile on his face, but by the end of the game, I think players on both sides were taking advantage of him. I think there were one or two inconsistent decisions because they didn't quite know whether he was a friend or an enemy or whether he was going to be severe or otherwise. And there was something to be said for that point of view too. Just look at this instant now. Dorney jumps with Bowles. I think Dorney's jumping quite cleanly there, but Bowles got upset by it, bad-tempered by that incident. And I want you to keep your eye on him, number 10 there, all the while. As the ref points there, look what he does. He kicks into the back of Dorney's heels. Now, that is a deliberate kick at an opponent. The linesman has seen it there, called the referee over. There was a little discussion, but the referee didn't take his name. Now, contrast that with what happens here in the second half this, when Mancini is caught out for a moment, not premeditated that, but realised he's made an error of judgment in the way he's going for that ball and handballs it. Now, that was deliberate, and the laws say that he should have his name taken because of that. But on the other hand, the crowd, nor the players, I think, could understand why it was that a player could get away with deliberate kicking and another have his name taken for deliberate handball. But more than that, throughout the game yesterday, I noticed that Queen's Park Rangers players particularly were encroaching almost at every free kick. They were never 10 yards away from the ball for free kicks, corners or anything else. Once or twice the referee and linesman stepped in and stopped it, but normally this is what happens. You can see Venables there taking up his position to make it difficult for the kicker. Remember that this has been given for an offence by Queen's Park Rangers, and you can see Venables jumping there, making life difficult for the kicker. And even Millwall themselves set up a block which was nowhere near 10 yards away from the ball, and we can look at that now. You can see 5 players here, all in a line, and look at that distance. The referee on the ball, no question that that's 10 yards, under 10 yards there, and that kick was given in a dangerous position for a foul. Clement there makes quite a good job of taking it, even despite the nearness of the block. And that's a good save there in the end. But really, that was the point that came out of yesterday's game. I would like to see referees be severe, and I'm sure sitting among the people in the crowd, they felt the same way. But they'd like to see them be severe and consistent. And I do hope that when next season starts, that they will all aim at that, because that way they'll get the respect of the players because they'll have to give it. So much for refereeing, but what was the real question today was why Millwall lost that game, having had so much of the game and yet ended up without a point. One of the reasons was Phil Parkes, a really first-class performance from a goalkeeper. I don't think I've ever seen him play better. Millwall were really on top at the start. This is in the first minute. Young Mick Kelly there, beautiful first-time shot, well saved by Parkes. Promising player, Mick Kelly. He's only had 2 or 3 games for them, and he really showed his ability yesterday. But look at this nice move coming up now. Good play from Millwall. Nice passing, a good dribble there, flicked off. And there's Mick Kelly again with his left foot. And what about that for a point-blank save from Parks? What can you do if you can't get that kind of ball in the net? But with a goalkeeper in inspired form, sometimes it can be difficult. There's Harry Cripps up the left wing, looking like a 2-year-old there, crossing a good ball, well flicked back by Order. And you can see Wood here, number 9, trying to get behind it so he can get power. But Parks has still anticipated it and gone to the left there to make that fine save. And lastly, the most difficult shot of the lot. This is by Gordon Bolland. He's a long way out, but he hits a dipper here. Hits it on the out there. Top spin on the ball, and you can see where it pitches. Catching Parks out, but he gets up as he goes down at the same time to keep the ball away from the goal. Really, that was what stood between Millwall and a victory early on in the game yesterday. But what else? Jerry Francis, a player I've talked about before, midfield player for Queen's Park Rangers, son of Roy Francis, who incidentally signed on for Brentford the same day as I did, many, many years ago now. But Jerry really is a complete all-round player. Look at that chest trap there. But also, what he does when Harry Cripps comes flying in. He's so cool, having taken that ball down. His football brain's working at lightning speed. I think he's learned a lot in close play. You can see here his coolness again as he puts it through the legs of an opponent, and also how well he lays it off. Never mind the danger. He's getting the ball back to his own man at that time. I think he's learned from Terry Venables the coolness that's necessary to play in the middle of the field. Prodigious work rate he's got, but look at this close passing here, which would probably measure up to any First Division standard. There he is. He knows where the ball's got to go now, and this is another thing I like about his play. Once he's played it, he's always off into another position looking for the return. There he is now, finally, with a first-class left foot shot there, which just slips past the post. Well, what about Rangers? I've got to say something about their prospects for next season. Jerry Francis is obviously going to enjoy his sojourn in the First Division, however long it may be. Yesterday, I must admit, you could say, look at the team and you say, well, they need 2 or 3 players. But that's always said about any team that goes into the First Division. So I reckon they'll scrap a bit and hold their own. But what about Millwall? I was pleased with Millwall yesterday. I think they've got an exciting side, a couple of very good youngsters, and I think they're going to have a pretty good fight for promotion when next season comes round.
Well, obviously, I was a little more disappointed with that game than Jimmy was, but nonetheless, it was good to be back at the Den again.
Well, could
Our next action on the
moment,
programme.
Brian? I'm terribly sorry there to interrupt you, but we have played a little trick on Brian. Yesterday at the game, he didn't know it, but a presentation was made to him by the Millwall Sportsmen's Association, and we had the cameras on it. Brian didn't know it at that time. I'm going to spare his blushes, but show now this little award being made by Messrs. Keep and Grove of the Millwall Sportsmen's Association. And it really is appreciation of Brian's coverage of football on behalf of all clubs, but particularly Millwall. They think he's been very fair to them. Their supporters haven't always had a good image, but on the other hand, they feel Brian has always fairly represented the matches and the supporters at Millwall. So that was a nice little moment yesterday, and to spare his blushes, I'm going to go on and introduce the next part of the programme to you. And it is the fight, the relegation fight at the Hawthorns yesterday between West Bromwich Albion and Norwich City, the match that would really decide almost who goes down into the second division. Pictures by ATV, commentator Hugh Johns. Albion are in the striped shirts.
That's Miller again. Shooting chance has gone, and it's on again, and he got it in. What a fine shot by Miller. Wide on the far side, Black. Suggett. Black goes on running down the left. This could be awkward. Away for a corner. Very unpleasant conditions out there now. Rain and a little bit of sleet and even a little bit of snow mixed up in it as well. Beating into the faces of the Albion defenders as they range themselves up to protect Osborne in this corner ball situation. Ian Miller will take it. A wind that will curl the ball into the goal mouth. Out by Shaw. Black hoiking it in there again, and he's all right. Suggett, what a save! Albion expecting him to be offside, and he wasn't. A fabulous save from Osborne, from his old teammate Colin Suggett. The chance for Suggett then to have got a ball in the net. Asa Hartford. Oh, and that was a try by Hockey, and for the 4th game in succession,
Trevor Hockey's going into the book. 4 games in a row. And Trevor Hockey is in the book. Incredibly enough, when Sheffield United won here back in August, 2-0, Trevor Hockey was playing with Sheffield United, and would you believe it, he went in the book that afternoon as well. Albion's free kick. Ray Wilson. Shaw trying to backhead it. Hartford. Asa Hartford. Ooh, and Miller skates away. Miller still going. And it's for Shaw. It's a goal across. Dave Cross. Oh, what a tragic mistake. 1-0 Norwich, and that could, it might just be the death knell for West Bromwich Albion in the First Division after 25 years. The running then of Ian Miller setting it all up. A fly shot, it might have been a shot, it might have been a pass, but whatever it was, came to Dave Cross, and he plants the ball past Osborne. Suggett. Miller in behind him. It's an awkward shot! Oh, Osborne did well to stop it being 2 goals then. And the Canaries of Norwich are beginning to sing around the terraces. Canaries supporters. Black, Suggett, Miller, and easy come the shouts as Norwich look like completing a double over West Bromwich Albion. Good punch. Suggett down. Oh, a tremendous chance! And a fabulous save from Chesley by Osborne. Paul Chesley within an inch then of scoring his first ever goal.
So, Norwich get a little breathing space. They've got an away game tomorrow against Wolves, and they wait for their home match on Tuesday against Crystal Palace. Alas, almost without hope themselves now, after those successive defeats this Easter by Leicester and Leeds. Although Palace, of course, aren't playing tomorrow, so they'll be a little more rested for that game at Norwich on Tuesday. That might be important. But it looks ominously like Palace and West Brom for the drop. But now it's golden goals of 1973. And today it's your last chance to decide for yourself the order of merit from 1 to 6 in our Golden Goals competition of 1973. And tomorrow the coupon will appear in the Evening News and the Evening Standard for the last time. Now, if you live in the circulation area of those 2 papers, that's the way you must vote. If you live outside it, then we'll take your entry on a postcard. I'll give you your address in a moment. The winner will spend next weekend with the Big Match team. He appears on the programme as well next Sunday, or she, maybe. And then comes the special Golden Goals party with all the star players. Remember, every goal has a letter. What you have to decide is which goal is best, second best, right the way through to 6th best. We start then with goal A, and that was Brian Robson's for West Ham against Manchester United at Upton Park.
West Ham, who've had so much more of the game, and the chances have come their way, but now for the second time find themselves behind. Robson hitting a goal! Oh, Robson! 2 goals in a little more than a minute.
Goal B in our final 6 is scored by Stan Bowles for Queen's Park Rangers against Cardiff.
Gibbons, Hazel, and Busby a long one forward. Venables beautifully on now for Bowles. Oh, a tremendous goal! A fantastic goal by Queen's Park Rangers.
Next is goal C. It's scored by John Pratt for Spurs, and it was against Wolves.
Again putting pressure on that Wolves back line. Munro out. Pearce. It's Pratt. Shivers down for Perryman. Gilzine. Pratt. That's a good shot and a beautiful goal. What a fabulous goal from John Pratt, and the Wolves defenders are absolutely stunned by that one.
Goal D, and that was scored by Peter Osgood for Chelsea against Derby County.
But again, there's the example of how Webb is such a destroying influence in an opposing penalty area, causing men to worry all the time. Britton, a little touch forward for Osgood, and he's got it through, and he has! Yes, Peter Osgood! Peter Osgood, the scorer, when there seemed no chance at all of a goal.
Goal E, that's won by Don Rogers, scored for Crystal Palace against Stoke City.
Hinchelwood with a chance to get away, to give relief to the defence. Rogers now, a touch on for Whittle. Played again for Rogers. Marsh is covering him. But now if Rogers can attack him, he might have a chance. He's got past Marsh, and now he's confronted by another. Rogers again, and a goal! Don Rogers! His confidence has come storming back.
And the last one is goal F. That was scored by Charlie George for Arsenal against Manchester City.
Marsh's back header. Clintock and Summerby going for it together. Kennedy, good header. George. Oh, my word!
So that's our goal and six. Let me just remind you of them again. Goal A is by Brian Robson. Goal B, Stan Bowles. Goal C, John Pratt. Goal D, Peter Osgood. Goal E, Don Rogers. And goal F, Charlie George. What you've got to do, remember, is put them in an order of merit, which is best, second best, right through to sixth best. Your entries must reach us by Wednesday in the London area by coupon that you'll see in the Evening News or the Evening Standard, outside that area on a postcard to this address. To the Golden Goals 1973, the big match, London Weekend Television, London SE99. I'll give it to you again. Golden Goals 1973, the big match, London Weekend Television, London SE99. It does seem that Jim and I, wherever we've gone this week, fans and players alike have been arguing the merits of all six of those goals. Certainly it's an enormous task for our panel that decides this week the official order, the panel being Bernard Joy of the Evening Standard, Victor Railton of the Evening News, Jimmy himself, and the Footballer of the Year, Pat Jennings. Next week then we shall name the winning goal and we shall welcome the winning viewer. Maybe it'll be you. But more action now, and it comes from Portman Road, Ipswich. It's an important game between Ipswich and Wolves, who are both striving for a place high enough in the First Division to give them entry into the UEFA Cup. It was a game that was marred by the sending off of two players. Ipswich here in the dark shirts. Commentator Jerry Harrison, pictures from Anglia.
Dugan and Hunter. Brian Hamilton. Owen Richards is there. And beautifully taken. And Richards with his 32nd goal of the season, but the man who gave it to him is Brian Hamilton. So Brian Hamilton put under pressure, not too much pressure though, pumps it back to David Best, but Richards is there, of course in an offside position, but you can't be offside when you receive like that, and neatly slots it through David Best's legs. Phil John beaten by Parkin. Mills. Oh, Phil John, beautiful control. Weimar. And Parks made a magnificent save there. Parks is hurt. Well, Weimar looked as if he'd got that one sewn up. Dugan beats Beattie. And Richards is causing a bit of trouble. Weimar coming to it, Parkin. Weimar doing so well to get that. Away by McCall. Dugan is not offside. Dugan's got a chance here. And a good save, a beautiful save by Best. And the Ipswich players still appealing to the referee, those of them not involved like Brian Hamilton here, that Dugan was well offside. But Hamilton going again. So you've got to feel sorry for Brian Hamilton. There he is taking that throw. He's given Wolves that goal with that back pass, but he's really worked terrifically hard the whole game. Now Mills. Back from Johnson. Mills. Hamilton, and he still cannot get a shot at Parks. Beattie deliberately letting it go so that Hunter can pick it up. Munro's powerful header. Lovely play by Hunter. Dugan behind him. Pass Powell. Lambert on the left. Viljoen, Wymark and Johnson in the penalty area. Lambert still going. Hamilton, can he pull it down? Parkin's leg. Johnson. And so many Wolves players there, and the ball never seemed even to get him through to goalkeeper Parks. Mills chipped forward. And surely Viljoen being pushed off badly. And a punch-up developing between them. And quite definitely Viljoen was being pushed off before that cross came over. Viljoen then pushed Munro in return, and the punch-up started. And this will be grotesquely unfair if only Viljoen gets his name taken. And from this position, it looked as that cross came over as if Munro was doing the pushing and Viljoen is going to be off. And there's a danger here of more than one of them being sent off, and indeed Munro is going off. He'd been warned twice, and that punch-up developed, and from this distance it looks certainly as if he was leaning on Viljoen first, but the tragedy of it is that Viljoen has got to go too. Now that is a real tragedy and a controversial one. It's the first incident of any sort that Viljoen has been involved in. Munro, that's his third warning he's had in the game. He goes off, but the man who wasn't the guilty party to start with, he's got to go off with him. Johnson, Parkin behind him. Mills, up goes Wymark. Morris, yes! A powerful shot, but it looked as if goalkeeper Parks had it covered, and that is Peter Morris's first goal of the season, and what a vital one. Not a powerful kick, but straight to Kindon, and Wolves happily in possession, but too slow. Wymark gets it off him, and away comes Mills with Johnson going on the right. McCall comes across. Here's Lambert. He had time, he had so much time, and he knows it. Now Kindon, will he get one of these runs going? Dugan's calling for it over this side. That's for Dugan. Still in play with Wagstaff just behind him. And Bailey square. Past Harper. Morris is half in. Bailey, a slick one, but it was straight to Beattie. Wymark with Parkin. Wymark not giving Parkin any time to turn and control it. Johnson with Brian Hamilton going past there, but off it goes. Powell. Straight to Harper. Lambert. Harper helping him on the left, but will he have a go at Taylor? Passed him one way. Wymark. Trevor Wymark. His first goal for 7 games, but made by that run by Mick Lambert. Lambert looks as if he'd been shielded out of it, turns past Taylor, puts one in, a cross which really didn't have too much power behind it, but Wymark getting low to it. He hasn't had the luck in front of goal, but this time made absolutely certain. And Ipswich 2-1 in the lead, and there's still 17 minutes at least left to play.
That's how it finished, 2-1 to Ipswich, but 2 players sent off. And slow motion today does tend to rather put a new slant on the whole thing. Jerry Harrison, the commentator, didn't have the advantage of that yesterday, and he felt that Colin Viljoen of Ipswich was rather hard done by. I think slow motion tends to suggest that, in fact, Viljoen was kicking at Munro. But, Jimmy, in view of what you've said about referees already today, Gordon Q.
Well, from what we've seen, it looks as if the referee was right, and that also without the aid of slow motion. He exerted the maximum penalty there, but I think you'll see there was a lot of justification. Look now as the ball goes up, Viljoen there pushing, and then you can see a kick there at the back of Munro, and it's at that point that Munro starts the fist flying. Viljoen punches back, and altogether a very unhappy incident. And at that point, the referee exerted the maximum penalty and sent both players off. In view of what I was saying earlier, what's my reaction to that? Well, I think that he is right. I think that all referees should be severe in these circumstances. If players kick and punch each other, then they should be sent off the field. It's as simple as that.
And I just simply say, see you again next Saturday lunchtime with On the Ball, a complete European roundup, the big match next Sunday afternoon. But we leave you today with a sort of goal that Crystal Palace fans have been aching for these past few weeks, but which might in fact mean First Division survival for Norwich City.
Skates away. Miller still going. And it's for sure. It's a goal across.